Top 3 underrated DJs. One of my favorite DJs is actually a friend and a peer, but I actually rate him highly on the DJ circuit. The brother, the Twilight Tone. He ain't scared. He just plays whatever he wants, however he wants, and he stretches the imagination and he digs deep in the crates and he just lets it go. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I really respect about DJs. Like, you know, you can only hear but the same classic records, but so much. But I always want to be educated. So even on old records, you know, learning about new records and old records, and he's definitely one of the guys that I hold in high regard for that. Second, in some circles, you probably would not be considered underrated, but Theo Parrish is one of my favorite DJs of all time. And that's because he puts his gut. You know, you have gut singers. When you hear them, they sing from the gut. Like, you know, they just reel you in with all of their might. Like this guy, when he plays, man, like, I can't even explain it. Like, I mean, I almost got a heart attack one time just hearing him play. That's how much power this brother has. Like, he's another one. Just plays what he feels, and he really stretches it out. Like, you might hear a James Brown record next to a hard techno record, next to a gospel record, next to some rare under-the-radar Chicago acid joint, like, to a soul record, to a Bobby Womack record, to a straight deep jazz record. Like, you know, that's where I'm coming from with it. Like, I like my brain to be stretched. You know, to me, that's a real DJ experience. One of my favorite DJs is Sonny James out of Philly. Had the honor and the pleasure of spinning with this brother. You know, I consider him like the future. He's still up and coming in a way, but he comes from the whole battle circuit, you know, turntablist circuit. But I've rocked a few parties with him, and the brother can play his ass off. I always appreciate DJs that are real technical and concise with how they present their records and present their music. He never misses a beat. He's clean, and he also likes to take chances with his musical choice. Like, he's not just gonna give you the same old, and he does his own edits of a lot of his music. And he's another one. I put him up there as one of the guys that, so, you know, you should definitely look out for. My top 3 underrated producers are Madlib, Super Dave West, and myself. I think, although Madlib is quite popular and known, I still regard him as underrated. He's definitely someone that is an acquired taste for many because of his awkwardness and his approach. But for example, I think like once he and Jay Dilla connected, rest in peace to the God, you really saw Dilla open up, because Madlib was the one that, to me, took more chances and just didn't care about what he used and was just real open and loose about things in his approach. Dilla was he was more on. Even though he was off, he was on. Like, you know, his offbeat style was still kind of quantized in a way. When they connected and they did that J-Lib record, you kind of heard Jay, you can hear the influence. You can hear how Madlib basically made Dilla not care anymore and was just like, yo, just rock it. So he started doing loops again, raw loops. It just opened up, man. I think Madlib, he's so free with it that in a way that kind of makes him untouchable. And he's another one, just like Jay was, his work ethic, just crazy. Like, I wish I had that much time to apply to making beats. And I think a big part of why he's so productive is because he doesn't care. You don't think about it. Just, you find a joint, if it appeals to you in any kind of way, just put it in the machine and make it work. You know what I mean? Don't even think about it, just go. Just go with it. Go. And after a while, you just accumulate a massive amount of, and I think that really helped Jay out in the end. You know, when you listen to a Donuts, you can clearly hear like some of the like the sloppiness in it, even though it's like organized confusion in a way, you can hear how he just didn't care. Like he just went with it. And I think that a lot of that is due to Madlib. My second choice of super underrated producer is Super Dave West. I can't even explain to you why that is. I think he should be way more regarded as a producer. Maybe it's because the majority of his heat goes to De La Soul and he doesn't really do much outside of that, but the stuff he's given De La, ever since I heard, was one of the tracks on, the opening tracks on Stakes is High album, man. Like, I like producers that have methods that I can't grasp. When you hear the beats and you just wonder, like, how in the world did they make that beat? You know, how did they take that sample and flip it to make it sound like that? If you just come in regular with it, then it's cool, you know what I'm saying? But I like my mind to be twisted a little bit, and that's why to me, J Dilla, JD, James Yancey is still one of the greatest of all time, because his approach was just unpredictable. You just didn't understand, like, the way he thought sometimes. Like, how in the world did you come up with this? And a lot of the records that he used, I have, or I found out about them. And when you actually listen to the records and the way they were flipped, you're just like, you listen to it like, what the hell was he thinking about? And it makes you wish you thought about it, you know what I mean? You know what, I'm gonna put myself in that category. I'll say I'm one of the most underrated. And the reason being is, you know, I've been in this game for a long time, been doing a lot of records. Maybe a lot of them didn't get the notoriety and the visibility that it should have, but if you go back and listen to the work that I put in, your boy put in a lot of work. I consider a lot of what I did, and especially in the 90s, and, you know, the tricks that I applied to flipping records and adding electronics to a lot of the samples that I used, and even now being as diverse as I am, I'm gonna toot my own horn and say that I don't really know too many producers in the game that can do what I've done, you know, and stretch it out from the most underground record to a potentially commercial sounding hip hop record to like a house record, and to like a jazz remix. I mean, I've remixed Roy Ayers, I've remixed, you know, old Michael Jackson record, We're Almost There, which has been sampled. I had a chance to like touch a Dilla record early on. I remixed Stakes is High, which J Dilla produced, Stakes is High for De La Soul. I've done a lot of things, so I'll put myself in that category. Go back, you guys, and check out some old Spinna productions and see what you can get your hands on and just analyze that. What I got coming up next, Foreign Exchange, Nicolay, and Fonte, they've putting out this compilation called Hide and Seek with a label out of the UK called Real People, and I have a track on there featuring Fonte on there called Tonight We Ride, so keep your eyes and ears open for that. Currently now out is a collaboration with me and Dame Fuck on a record called Fresh Air. It's actually a collaboration with Serato Pressings, so if you're a Serato DJ, you know, you can go out and get that. It's the Serato tone on one side and some productions with Dan Funk and one collaborative joint with me and him. I just did a record with Ocean Lade. Keep your eyes and ears open for that. A remix for him, a track coming out on Yoruba Soul. And Jig Masters was still in the lab making some music. Hopefully have a record out before the end of the year on BBE. And another Spinna album, like a straight up DJ Spinna record across the board, different genres. I don't want to talk too much about who's on there, but it's going to be a special joint for sure.